In a shocking twist of fate, yet another Russian war vessel has been struck down, this time by Ukrainian drones. This wasn't just any ship, it was a rare and invaluable asset that significantly bolstered Russia's naval capabilities. The event unfolded on September 10, 2025, in the Black Sea near Novorossiysk, a strategic Russian port. Reports from Ukraine's main Directorate of Intelligence revealed that their special forces had successfully targeted the MPSV-07 multipurpose vessel, a key part of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. The telegram announcement was thrilling, accompanied by a dramatic video that offered a first-person view from the drone. Viewers watched breathlessly as the drone swooped in, zeroing in on its target, and struck the bridge of the ship, the vital hub for navigation and communication. The MPSV-07 spans approximately 73 meters, 240 feet, and possesses impressive features, including a crew capacity of up to 20, and it can endure 20 days at sea while reaching speeds of up to 15 knots. This particular vessel was believed to have been performing reconnaissance for Russian operations. It housed a variety of advanced systems, such as diving equipment and sonar technology for underwater exploration. However, at the time of its attack, it was patrolling the waters of Novorossiysk, tasked with monitoring the remnants of Russia's diminished fleet in the Black Sea. The situation hinted at a broader strategy, showcasing how Russia, facing increasing pressure, has been compelled to move its fleet into less vulnerable waters. Ukraine has intensified its campaign against Russian naval assets in recent months, launching successful operations that have progressively weakened the Russian forces' grip in the region. The significance of this specific strike is profound for two main reasons. To begin with, each MPSV-07 is valued at approximately $60 million, yet the Ukrainian forces managed to neutralize this high-value target with just a single drone, which cost a fraction of that. This pattern of using low-cost weapons to inflict major damage on expensive Russian military resources illustrates a shrewd approach to warfare. This is costly not just in terms of lost vessels, the overall financial toll of the war is staggering. Keeping a military campaign active involves outrageous expenses, troop salaries, training, munitions, vehicles, and infrastructure costs pile up. Russia has funneled an astonishing amount of money into its military since the onset of the conflict, increasing its defense budget year after year. The Kremlin faces a daunting reality: their war chest is dwindling, with the economic situation deteriorating further. Reports indicate struggles in various sectors and financial institutions, making daily life increasingly dire for the average Russian citizen. In an extraordinary twist, Putin and high-ranking officials appear to be scapegoating their own generals and oligarchs, a desperate maneuver to reclaim lost financial stability and power. As this incident unfolds, it reverberates far beyond a solitary ship lost. It symbolizes a recurring setback for Russia, further straining their already beleaguered forces. Even as the MPSV-07 persists in repair, its absence from active duty represents not just a gap but a potential opportunity for Ukraine. With reduced Russian capabilities in the Black Sea, Ukraine could very well amplify its offensive roles. With the momentum shifting, the countdown begins. What follow-up strikes might Ukraine execute next? They have showcased remarkable skill in aerial maneuvers and precision attacks against Russian naval assets. The dramatic success of their past operations has laid bare their capacity for effective, rapid responses, fostering intrigue about their future strategies. The tension hangs in the air, and many are left wondering, will Ukraine seize the moment and expand its offensive into Russian-controlled waters? The story is only beginning to unfold. On September 10, 2025, a fierce new chapter unfolded in the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia. A highly significant Russian warship, the MPSV-07, met its fate in the turbulent waters of the Black Sea, just off the coast of Novorossiysk. This wasn't just any vessel, it was a rare multipurpose ship valued at approximately $60 million, a crucial asset in Russia's beleaguered naval fleet. Why was this event so pivotal? The ship, equipped with advanced technology for electronic reconnaissance and equipped with tools for underwater surveys, was engaged in vital operations for the Russian military. As the drone sent by Ukraine flew ominously through the sky, it made a precise strike on the ship's bridge, where its critical navigation and communication systems lay dormant. The chilling moment when the drone's charge struck home was captured on camera, bringing the intensity of modern warfare to the screen. This attack exemplifies Ukraine's recent wave of successful military operations, a trend that's increasingly tipping the scales of naval power. With more and more Russian ships being incapacitated, the Black Sea is becoming a chessboard where every piece counts, and losing even one can change the tide of conflict. Ukraine's arsenal, bolstered by drones that are both cost-effective and devastatingly efficient, has allowed them to strike high-value targets with alarming precision. The financial ramifications of this engagement reverberate beyond mere military statistics. War, after all, is as much about resources as it is about strategy. For Russia, already facing an economic crisis due to the high costs of warfare, losing such a ship is a monumental blow. With a diminishing number of MPSV-07 vessels, reportedly only 5 remaining, this setback leaves an enormous gap in their capabilities. How will the Kremlin navigate this growing vulnerability? Ukraine's tactical prowess has advanced significantly, and its forces have proven adept at exploiting weaknesses wherever they arise. The stakes are higher than ever as Kiev looks toward potential opportunities in an increasingly exposed Russian naval presence. With each successful strike, the Ukrainian military gains momentum, emboldened by the prospect of turning the tide in their favor. As tensions escalate and strategies evolve, the Black Sea becomes a crucible for conflict. Each clash and casualty tells a story of resilience, uncertainty, and the relentless pursuit of supremacy. The question remains, what will the next move hold for both nations? The strategic landscape is shifting, and both sides will need to adapt quickly to stay afloat in this high-stakes environment. In a stunning shift of power in the Black Sea, a formidable Russian warship has been obliterated, thanks to the precision of Ukrainian drones. This isn't just any ordinary naval vessel, it's a rare and highly coveted MPSV-07 multipurpose ship. On September 10, 2025, Western intelligence was electrified by reports from Ukraine's Directorate of Intelligence, revealing that special forces had successfully targeted this significant military asset near Novorossiysk. Imagine the scene, Ukrainian drones soaring through the air, their cameras capturing a first-person view as they approach their target, seamlessly diving toward the ship's bridge. In a decisive moment, the drone strikes, targeting the heart of the ship where crucial navigational and communication systems are housed. This wasn't a fluke, it was a carefully orchestrated strike that embodies the ingenuity and growing capabilities of Ukraine's military. The MPSV-07 isn't just any ship. Approximately 73 meters in length, it's designed for endurance in harsh conditions, capable of operating in ice-laden waters. Ukraine suspected this specific vessel was on a reconnaissance mission, tracking movements in a sea that has become a battleground for dominance between the two nations. This attack is particularly horrifying for Russia, indicating the increasing prowess of Ukraine's military strategy. Every MPSV-07 is valued at around $60 million. To bring down such a titan with a relatively inexpensive drone symbolizes a massive tactical victory for Ukraine. With tensions rising, each strike is not just a pinprick in the fabric of war, it's a significant blow to Russian strength and morale. Now, consider the implications. Russia has been pouring enormous resources into this conflict, ramping up defense budgets and recruiting forces to sustain a long-term military campaign. Yet, they are now facing crippling costs from the losses inflicted upon them. With their economy deeply strained, the war is taking a visible toll on the everyday lives of Russian citizens, constraining them with soaring prices and dwindling resources. Within the walls of the Kremlin, panic has set in. As President Putin faces mounting pressure, a dramatic purge is reportedly underway, targeting oligarchs and military leaders alike, those who might shoulder the blame for these misfortunes. This atmosphere of distrust and fear is palpable, revealing a government in crisis as military setbacks pile up. While the MPSV-07 may not have been completely destroyed, the cost of repairing such an asset is likely to reach millions, keeping it out of commission for an extended period. Without this ship, Russia's capabilities in the Black Sea have been significantly impaired. The naval strategy that once seemed solid is now riddled with gaps, even as they have only a handful of these vessels remaining. To add more intensity to the situation, with one of their prized ships now sidelined, Russian forces are faced with an unprecedented opportunity for Ukraine's military. This singular advantage could lead to renewed offensives, heightening the stakes in this already volatile region. Will Ukraine take the plunge and push even further, or will Russia find a way to regroup and recover? As the conflict evolves, one thing remains strikingly clear: the landscape of naval warfare is transforming. With innovative tactics and technology, Ukraine is showing capabilities that were unimaginable just a short time ago. Each strike echoes through the ranks, and the question looms: how far will this one drastic change ripple through the ongoing conflict? An electric tension fills the air, as both sides recalibrate their strategies, preparing for whatever the next chapter in this high-stakes drama will hold. Previously, we saw how Ukraine's special forces managed to cripple one of Russia's rare MPSV-07 multi-use vessels using a homemade combat drone. This wasn't just another ship lost at sea. Russia counts only about 5 of them, with perhaps one still under construction. Now, with one badly damaged and likely confined to a shipyard for months, this strike seriously impairs Russia's Black Sea capabilities. But why does this matter so much? The Ukrainian drone struck precisely where it hurt the most: the ship's control bridge. This is where vital navigation and communication systems are housed, the brain of the vessel. The strike obliterated the enemy's radio-electronic reconnaissance equipment, leaving the ship stunned and sidelined. Repairing such high-tech gear isn't cheap or quick. Months could pass before the vessel returns to service, if at all. With one less MPSV-07 patrol vessel guarding its waters, Russia is suddenly more vulnerable in the Black Sea. The Kremlin's options shrink, and the delicate balance of naval power shifts. For Ukraine, this is a strategic opening. Could Kyiv seize this moment to unleash more strikes against Russian ships hovering near Novorossiysk? The answer seems clear. Ukraine has proven time and again it can hit swiftly and effectively, using drones that transform the battlefield. In fact, Ukraine recently pulled off a jaw-dropping attack with a long-range first-person view drone. On August 28, far away in the Azov Sea, they took down a Russian Bayan-M missile corvette, the kind of ship armed with caliber cruise missiles, infamous for pounding Ukrainian towns. What makes this feat astonishing? The drone flew over 217 miles from its launch point to reach and destroy its target. This level of precision and reach would have been unthinkable not long ago. That Bayan-M vessel was stationed near Temriuk Bay, a strategic location guarding water routes. Yet, it didn't even see the attack coming. With Russia's radar systems disabled by the Ukrainians, the crew was left blind, deaf, and exposed to airborne drone strikes. The destruction was swift and absolute. What does all this mean for the future of the Black Sea conflict? As Ukraine sharpens its drone warfare to near perfection, Russia's expensive naval assets become vulnerable targets. With fewer vessels to patrol and defend critical areas, the Kremlin faces rising pressure. Ukraine's daring attacks are not just blows to ships but fractures in Russia's defense web, opening dangerous cracks for its navy. The sound of drones buzzing overhead is no longer just a background noise, it's a warning bell for Russian forces. As the echoes of destruction spread across these waters, one question haunts Moscow: how long can they hold their grip on the Black Sea when the unseen enemy is striking with relentless precision? Previously, we saw Ukraine carry out daring strikes on Russian naval forces that once would have seemed impossible. A missile ship armed with caliber cruise missiles, positioned near Temriuk Bay, was taken down in a flash. Now, let's dive deeper into how Ukraine's elite combined forces to pull off a devastating two-stage assault on a key Russian warship. Imagine the tense silence before battle, pierced only by the faint hum of drones slicing through the salty air over the Sea of Azov. The Russian missile ship, a Bayan-M project vessel, boasted sophisticated radar systems, its eyes to the world and shield against surprise attacks. Among these were the MP231-2 navigation radar and the 5P26M1 positive M1 phased array radar, scanning relentlessly for threats. But all that changed in an instant. Ukraine's main Directorate of Intelligence, known as GUR, teamed up with Special Operations Forces to execute a meticulously planned strike. The first wave targeted the ship's radar. Seconds after those stealthy drone strikes, the Bayan-M went blind, its once-reaching gaze reduced to silence. On board, confusion spread. No signals, no warning beeps of incoming danger. The crew was left exposed, like a fortress with its gates wide open. Could you imagine the panic? The deafening quiet where alarms should blare. Nature's salty breeze replaced by the eerie stillness of suspended time. For the crew, every shadow could be the sign of another unseen strike. Ukraine's forces pressed their advantage. Not content with blinding the ship, the second phase of the assault saw more drones zeroing in, targeting the hull directly. These unmanned weapons swarmed in with relentless precision. The goal was clear: inflict as much damage as possible, cripple this carrier of destruction before it could unleash its deadly caliber missiles on Ukrainian towns. Leaked footage from the attack shows the drones darting like hawks, relentless in pursuit. Ukraine's Defense Intelligence reported, on August 28, 2025, in a joint operation between the Ministry of Defense's Department of Active Operations and the Elite Primary Unit, a Bayanem missile ship was struck near the temporarily occupied Crimea in the Sea of Azov. The vessel, armed with caliber missiles, was severely damaged. GUR's Ghost Special Unit disabled the radar with an aerial drone strike, while Special Forces hit the ship's side in a coordinated follow-up. As the waves lapped over the damaged hull, the impact grew clear: the ship was forced to withdraw from combat duty. The Russian Navy lost a valuable asset, one that cost millions but was taken down by a much cheaper flying machine. What does this mean for the war at sea? How long before Russia can replace such a high-value warship? And while the Black Sea ripples with uncertainty, what fresh tactics might Ukraine unveil next? Stay with us, the conflict is far from over, and the chessboard has just shifted dramatically. In the last chapter, we witnessed how Ukrainian forces crippled the radar of a Russian Bayanem missile ship with a daring drone assault. That brutal strike left the vessel blind and severely damaged, forcing it out of its battle position near Temryuk Bay. But what did this Russian warship truly represent? How devastating was its loss? And what does this spell for the power struggle raging across the Black Sea? The Russian missile ship targeted was no ordinary vessel. Stretching an impressive 240 feet in length and displacing nearly 950 tons, this sleek corvette could slice through waves at speeds up to 25 knots, that's about 29 miles per hour. It wasn't just fast, it was built to endure, capable of staying at sea for 15 days straight without needing to refuel or resupply. Its maximum range spanned a staggering 1,500 nautical miles, giving it a vast reach for delivering precision strikes. Armed to the teeth, the Bayanem packed a deadly arsenal, up to 8 caliber cruise missiles, a formidable A-190 100mm cannon, 2 rapid-fire AK-630M anti-aircraft guns, Igla-1M surface-to-air missiles, and a swarm of machine guns. Hundreds of systems hummed and blinked on board, advanced radars scanning the horizon, communications networks maintaining constant contact, and navigational gear guiding every move. It was a floating fortress, designed to project Russia's naval might with thunderous force. Yet, all that power was no match for Ukraine's expertly deployed drones. The relentless buzzing of the unmanned craft cut through the salty sea breeze as tiny but deadly eyes locked onto their vulnerable targets. No alarms could sound fast enough to stave off the precision strikes that tore through vital systems. The Bayanem, shrouded in smoke and chaos, had no choice but to limp away, disarmed, blinded, and out of the fight. This attack echoes the recent destruction of the MPSV-07 multipurpose vessel, another rare and invaluable Russian asset. Both ships were not mass-produced war machines but limited-edition tools of control, vital for reconnaissance, salvage, and electronic warfare. The loss of just one sends shockwaves through the Kremlin's strategic calculations, stripping away layers of defense and intelligence. Only 12 Bayanem corvettes sail under Russia's flag, with just 5 MPSV-07 vessels reportedly at their disposal. Each destroyed or disabled ship is a massive blow, wounding Moscow's ability to defend its maritime interests and launch devastating missile attacks. The Russian fleet's already fragile posture along the Black Sea is cracking under the pressure. What happens next? With these powerful warships out of commission, who will guard the waters? Can Russian forces patch the damage quickly, or will Ukraine press its advantage, sending even more drones and special forces to hunt the once feared fleet? The horizon crackles with uncertainty, and the next move could decide the fate of the entire Black Sea region. Will Moscow's naval dominance survive, or crumble under relentless drone swarms and tactical precision? The silent war beneath the waves is far from over. In a stunning turn of events, another Russian Navy vessel has been dramatically removed from the equation, thanks to the surgical strike of Ukrainian drones. This wasn't just any ordinary ship, it was a prized possession of the Russian fleet. On September 10, 2025, the incident unfolded in the Black Sea, not far from the bustling port city of Novorossiysk, marking a significant shift in naval power dynamics. The Ukrainian Main Directorate of Intelligence disclosed the details on their social media channel, revealing the acute precision with which their special forces executed the mission. They targeted an MPSV-07 multipurpose vessel, notorious for its value as a reconnaissance asset in the Black Sea Fleet. The short video released captures the drone's perspective as it navigates the sky, homing in on its target, before executing a pinpoint strike on the ship's control bridge, where critical navigation and communication systems are housed. Measuring approximately 73 meters long and 16.6 meters wide, this ice-strengthened vessel was designed for a variety of operations, including salvage missions. However, it was engaged in reconnaissance activities at the time of the attack. The embedded equipment used for such missions, including sonar and remote devices, made it an invaluable asset for Russia's military ambitions in the region. But what does this loss mean for Russia? Each MPSV-07 is valued at around $60 million, making this strike not just a point of pride for Ukraine, but a significant blow to Russian military finances. Allocating resources for ongoing military operations is costly. And every drone strike by Ukraine is a reminder of how effectively they can inflict damage from a distance, often spending much less than what they destroy. As the financial strains on Russia swell, with its economy already reeling from ongoing sanctions and military expenditures, the implications of losing such a vessel ripple through the Kremlin. The recent repositioning of Russian naval assets to seemingly safer waters, driven by the relentless Ukrainian attacks in Crimea, is not just a tactical retreat, it illustrates the mounting pressure on Russia's naval capabilities. In this evolving conflict, Ukraine has constantly honed its drone warfare tactics. Each successful strike boosts morale within Ukrainian ranks while undermining confidence in the Russian military's ability to defend its assets. The recent disabling of the MPSV-07 vessel leaves a significant gap. With only 4 more of these versatile ships remaining in active service, and one reportedly under construction, the reliance on just a handful of such vessels effectively curtails Russia's operational reach in the Black Sea. Building on this momentum, Ukraine's military could exploit this vulnerability, launching further offensives to dismantle remaining assets in the area. Recent months have showcased their ability to hit Russian naval targets, with operations becoming ever more sophisticated and audacious. For instance, an earlier drone strike on a Russian Bayanem corvette thousands of miles away accentuates their evolving strike capabilities, an evolution that has shifted the battlefield landscape dramatically. With new missile systems like Long Neptune making their entry into the Ukrainian arsenal, the stakes have risen higher. These advancements, coupled with the damaging effects of previous strikes, mount pressure on Russia's military apparatus, exposing it to vulnerabilities that could further dictate the course of this war. The echoes of these events resonate through both military and civilian life in Russia, marking a turning point that could redefine the balance of power in the ongoing conflict. Each strike serves as a stark reminder that the tides of war are constantly shifting, and a single drone can alter the course of history in profound ways. Have you ever wondered how a single, relatively Another remarkable chapter unfolded in the ongoing conflict, showcasing the relentless strength of Ukraine's military. On September 10, near the port city of Novorossiysk in the Black Sea, a Ukrainian drone successfully targeted a valuable Russian naval vessel. But this was no ordinary ship, it was an MPSV-07 multipurpose vessel, a critical piece of Russia's naval forces, now reduced to a mere shell of its former self. Imagine the scene: the drone, sleek and unwavering, dances through the azure sky, its operators glued to their screens. With pinpoint precision, it descends upon the ship, striking its bridge, the heart of its navigation and communication systems. Ukrainian intelligence reported that this battle strategy didn't just neutralize a ship, it dealt a significant blow to Russia's operational capabilities, an expensive military asset rendered useless. The MPSV-07, measuring approximately 73 meters, could hold a crew of up to 20, and even more personnel for specialized missions. However, this attack stripped it of its dignity and usability, forcing it into costly repairs. As news broke out, it illuminated the reality of Ukraine's approach to warfare. They utilize relatively low-cost drones to inflict substantial damage, turning the tables against their adversary. Each MPSV-07 vessel represents around $60 million, minuscule compared to what Ukraine incurs in losses. Russia's defense budget has ballooned, yet with mounting attacks, the expenditures keep escalating. Their economy, strained by military actions, stumbles under the financial weight of sustaining a war effort. The implications are staggering. With limited MPSV-07 vessels, rumored to be only 5, the loss of even one significantly alters the dynamic in the Black Sea. Not only does it diminish Russia's reconnaissance and patrolling capabilities, but it also opens doors for Ukraine. This critical hit complicates Russia's missions, forcing them to reassess their naval strategies. The warfare landscape evolves further with every attack. On September 5, Ukraine reported another strike that disrupted Russian operations, this time targeting a patrol boat, utilizing a series of drone strikes that showcased their evolving tactical prowess. The operation, executed with a combination of FPV drones and strike UAVs, proved successful, dismantling not just the boat but crucial radar and electronic warfare systems designed to safeguard Russian maritime interests. When discussing the importance of these vessels, one must note that only 12 out of a total of 15 Bayan-class corvettes belong to the Bayan M category. Hence, every loss directly impacts Russia's military effectiveness and reduces their capacity to employ long-range missile launches. When one machine tumbles, it doesn't just damage hardware, it sows seeds of vulnerability deep within command strategies, making it progressively harder for the Kremlin to project power and secure safety in its maritime realms. With such shifts occurring relentlessly, how will Russia adapt? Will they retaliate, or will they be forced into a defensive stance as Ukraine capitalizes on newfound advantages? The stakes rise with each drone that takes to the skies, and as Ukraine pushes forward, the tension in the Black Sea grows palpable, pregnant with the potential for renewed conflict. The narrative threads of war intertwine, leading us to wonder, who truly holds the upper hand in a game defined by strategy and sudden strikes? In a stunning turn of events, intelligence reports revealed that another Russian warship has been effectively removed from play, courtesy of a precision drone strike by Ukrainian forces. This was no ordinary ship, it was a rare and invaluable asset to Russia's naval fleet, and its absence will severely weaken their operational capacity. The incident unfolded on September 10, 2025, in the Black Sea near the port city of Novorossiysk. According to the Ukrainian Main Directorate of Intelligence, this successful operation not only showcased the prowess of the Ukrainian special forces but also highlighted the ongoing challenges faced by the Russian military. The attack targeted an MPSV-07 multipurpose vessel, an impressive ship measuring approximately 73 meters in length with a breadth of 16.6 meters. Known for its strong ice-resistant design, the MPSV-07 can operate in harsh conditions, performing a range of tasks including reconnaissance, salvage, and rescue missions. Reports suggest that this vessel was engaged in electronic reconnaissance at the time of its destruction. The drone strike resulted in a direct hit on the ship's command bridge, where vital navigation and communication equipment is located. Imagine the tension as the drone soared silently through the air, the operator's heart racing, waiting for the right moment to strike. The video of the attack, shared with the world, shows the drone homing in on the unsuspecting vessel. With a sharp burst, it hit the target, rendering the ship inoperable and marking a substantial loss for the Kremlin. Each MPSV-07 vessel is valued at around $60 million. And Ukraine deployed a relatively inexpensive drone to inflict this staggering blow. It's a vivid reminder that in modern warfare, the balance of power can shift dramatically with the right tools and strategies. As the Kremlin scrambles to respond, the implications of this attack ripple through their ranks. With only 5 of these specialized vessels in their inventory, losing one to a drone strike puts significant pressure on Russian operations in the Black Sea. This vessel's absence opens the door for Ukraine to potentially escalate its own offensives while exploiting this newfound vulnerability in the Russian fleet. This triumph isn't an isolated incident but part of a series of successful Ukrainian operations targeting Russian naval assets. Earlier, on August 28, Ukraine executed an unprecedented long-range strike on another warship, showing their growing expertise in drone warfare. Each success resonates within the Ukrainian military and complicates the Kremlin's strategic calculations, as the war settles into a precarious balance of innovation and desperation. As the situation continues to evolve, the stakes rise higher for both sides. Can Ukraine leverage this victory to reclaim more territory, or will Russia retaliate with unforeseen consequences? The unfolding drama promises to keep the world on edge as this conflict reaches new heights of intensity and unpredictability. On a striking day in the Black Sea, a powerful Russian warship was obliterated by Ukrainian drones, sending shockwaves through the Kremlin. This wasn't just any ship, it was a rare multipurpose vessel, crucial for Russia's naval operations. The incident unfolded on September 10, when the military district special forces successfully tracked and struck an MPSV-07 warship, valued at around $60 million. As the drone soared through the clear azure sky, viewers were captivated by a gripping video shared by Ukraine's main Directorate of Intelligence. It depicted the drone, gliding smoothly before delivering a decisive blow to the ship's bridge, where essential navigational systems were housed. The damage inflicted dismantled key communication and reconnaissance capabilities, crippling the adversary's operations in one fell swoop. The MPSV-07, measuring approximately 240 feet with impressive sea endurance, was a multitasking titan, often deployed for reconnaissance and salvage missions. During its fateful moments, it was engaged in electronic surveillance, patrolling the approaches to the strategic Novorossiysk Bay, an area increasingly under scrutiny as Russian forces repositioned their assets to avoid being targeted by Ukrainian precision strikes. This attack wasn't isolated, it was part of a calculated series of engagements aimed at depleting Russia's once formidable naval presence. In recent months, Ukraine's forces had escalated their offensive, undermining Russian positions by systematically targeting high-value ships and military infrastructure. Each successful strike was not just a tactical victory, it reverberated through the Kremlin's wallets, increasing the financial strain on an already beleaguered economy. With mounting costs from the continual loss of vessels, aircraft, and ground equipment, the Kremlin found itself struggling to bolster its military while facing backlash at home. The dynamic shifted significantly as anti-war sentiments surged among the Russian populace, feeling the brunt of the escalating conflict. As the dust settled over the submerged ship and the shattered remains of its operations, a critical question loomed: how would this loss affect the balance of power in the Black Sea? With an already minimal number of MPSV-07 vessels at their disposal, the Russian military was now boxing itself into a corner. Reinforced by successful drone warfare operations, Ukraine prepared for a new chapter of its offensive, eyeing additional targets in the now vulnerable Russian Black Sea Fleet. In a remarkable display of strategy and execution, Ukraine had managed to outmaneuver its enemy, drawing on innovation and resilience. The question remained, would this newly seized momentum be enough to change the tide of the war? As this riveting battle of wits escalated, the world watched with bated breath to see which nation would emerge victorious. A stunning blow struck deep into Russia's naval strength. On September 10, a Ukrainian drone zeroed in on a rare, invaluable Russian warship near Novorossiysk, in the dark waters of the Black Sea. This was no ordinary vessel, an MPSV-07 multipurpose ship, vital to Moscow's fleet, now left crippled and out of action. Picture this, a sleek drone slicing through the clear blue, operators gripping their controls with laser focus, closing in relentlessly on the ship's nerve center, the bridge, where every vital system lives. Then, a direct hit, communication and navigation gear shattered, and an expensive prize snatched from Russia's grasp. This assault reveals much about Ukraine's brutal strategy. Rather than costly face-to-face battles, they strike with relatively inexpensive drones that inflict millions in damage. Each MPSV-07 costs around $60 million. Radio silence now envelopes one of just 5 known ships of this class Russia possesses, with perhaps one more under construction. Losing even one of these precious vessels hugely downsizes Moscow's reconnaissance and naval capabilities, forcing a hasty rethinking of maritime tactics. It's a financial and strategic catastrophe. The MPSV-07 is no small ship. Around 73 meters long, it carries crews plus specialized teams for complex missions like salvage, bottom surveying, and reconnaissance. Its ice-strengthened hull allows it to navigate the harshest seas. But the recently struck vessel wasn't just cruising aimlessly, it was conducting electronic reconnaissance off Novorossiysk Bay. Monitoring Russia's remaining Black Sea assets after heavy Ukrainian pressure forced fleet relocations from Crimea. This attack is part of a growing pattern. Just days before, Ukraine executed another precision drone strike that disabled a Russian patrol boat, severing radar and electronic warfare defenses crucial to Russian maritime security. These aren't random blows, they're calculated hits designed to dismantle Moscow's naval power piece by piece. Only 12 of the total 15 Bayan-class corvettes fit the more advanced Bayan-M subtype, further tightening Russia's naval chokehold. Every ship lost chips away at its ability to launch deadly long-range missiles, weakening the Kremlin's grip over the seas. When such prized vessels fall, the damage reverberates beyond metal, it tears into Moscow's command and control, leaving warships blind, crews vulnerable, and strategies shattered. Faced with crippling losses and an economy burdened by endless conflict, Russia's ability to maintain force projection in the Black Sea teeters on the edge. The Kremlin's coffers are bleeding, its elite shaken, and its military stretched thin. Ukraine's relentless drone strikes expose these fractures, exploiting weaknesses with surgical precision. So what next? Can Russia bounce back, or will it retreat into a defensive shell as Ukraine seizes control of the naval chessboard? Will the Black Sea become a zone of Ukrainian dominance, or will Moscow find a way to turn the tide once again? With tension thickening and every drone flight charged with possibility, the question lingers in the salty sea air: who will hold the upper hand in this deadly game of shadows and surprise strikes?